My name is Christina Burrill. I'm the curator here at Art Center Sarasota, and it has been an absolute pleasure to work with Keenan on developing this show. Not only is Keenan an amazing artist, but he is a wonderful human, which I'm sure you'll all glean from his talk tonight. So, yes, we will get to some Q&A later, but in the meantime, if you could all just give me a big round of applause in welcoming Keenan Perren. All right, so, it is, congratulations, just first of all, on the show. It looks great, and our visitors have been absolutely loving it. Before we dive into the artwork, I think our audience here would love to know a little bit more about you, Keenan. So, you're originally from New Jersey. What was it like growing up there?
New Jersey was cool. I'm from South Jersey. I'm from Vineland, New Jersey. Vineland's cool. I love Vineland. I'm really from right outside Vineland, Pittsburgh Township, but I went to school in Vineland. I ended up moving to Vineland, and Vineland's where I started skating and everything, like where it really, picked up. But I loved it out there. I moved here my senior year, and kind of just, I don't know.
So I know you did a little bit of art growing up. What was your sort of experience with art as a kid?
I just liked to kind of do stuff, be creative. We used to, I know my best friend Austin, we used to make t-shirts and stuff with duct tape and spray paint and kind of do little painting. I didn't really do anything serious. In high school I would kind of mess around with some stuff, but I just like to be creative and do stuff, anything, see what was fun. I like to have fun.
Well, the show is very fun, and obviously it's super related to your love of skateboarding.
Yeah.
So when did you start skating?
So I started skating around 12 or 13. It was definitely in middle school. My younger cousin had started skating. He's 4 years younger than me. And I saw him drop in, and I thought it was really cool. Then I would go to my friend's, my best friend, his house. He lived about a mile away, and he brought out a skateboard one day and was like, "Oh, my uncle taught me how to pop. Show it, you want to see or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah." I would just go over there to play freeze tag and stuff, and he showed me, and then I got a skateboard and I would skate to his house basically every day after school. I'd get off the bus and just go to his house, and we were just in the driveway. Where we lived, it was kind of like how Parrish is, kind of more woodsy, more rural. So there wasn't any skate spots. There was no skate parks or anything like that. We were just in the driveway, almost every day, just skating. Sometimes my aunt would take us to a park, but it was like that until I started going out to places like Vineland, and eventually when I got older, Philly, and kind of traveling around where I live to do more,
That's awesome. So those of you that weren't prepared, we're going to learn a lot of skateboarding terms tonight.
I already heard two of them. I got to drop in.
We learned to go in on the ramps, to kind of roll in. Sorry.
What was the second one? With your cousin?
Just a little trick. Just little tricks. We learned to pop shove it. It's where you spin.
Pop shove it.
Yeah.
So, for those in the audience that may not be totally familiar, what is the difference between just going to the skate park and skating in the streets?
Yeah, so they both are really cool, and they're both very important. Skate parks are good for kind of having it's like a safe place. You don't have to worry about getting into things, getting hit by cars, and your parents, especially if you're a little kid, your parents know that you're safe, fairly safe at a skate park. There's still some crazy stuff that can go down, but you're fairly safe at a skate park, and it's like a controlled place. But there's also street skating, and it's when you're just out in the city, when when you see kids doing stuff and they're messing up property or skating somewhere they're not supposed to and getting kicked out, while it is annoying, I'm sure to a lot of people, it's really important to skateboarding as well. I was telling her, like, that's where you kind of learn to like use your surroundings, to think outside the box, to find something that people will look at and just see a set of stairs, or they just see a curb, or they see a plant box, or a little piece of the sidewalk that kind of goes up. But when you're, out, you're forced, when you're skateboarding, you're forced to kind of think outside the box. How can I use this, like, natural thing or this man-made thing to look cool, to like, so to make it look cool and to challenge myself too. It's not perfect. A lot of times the skate parks, the ground are perfect, everything's perfect, but when you're out in the streets, it's kind of like, you have to work against a lot of stuff, a whole lot of stuff. And it's fun. You also run into a lot of fun things and people and experiences, and you got a lot of stories, and it's important. Both are important, but it's important, even if it's kind of annoying. I can see how it would be kind of annoying, especially hearing it, but it forces you to think outside the box, and I think that's where a lot of this comes from. I think a lot of skateboarders have to, think outside the box. You're creative. You have to be creative in a way.
So the title of the show, Push, has a couple of different meanings, both skateboarding and otherwise. Could you share with us a little bit about where that title came from?
Yeah, so push is like, one of my favorite things is to just kind of cruise, to just ride my skateboard around. You don't even have to pop, you don't have to do any tricks. You kind of just ride. That's where push comes from, you're kind of just pushing around. But a lot of this deals with friends and family. I really like human connection, like learning about people, people that are interesting to me and stuff like that. And a lot of us got a lot of stuff going on, and it's kind of like that, like pushing through things we have going on in life too. Skateboarding, for me at least, I know for a lot of people, it's kind of like a solace. Like, you can have a lot going on, and it's like a freedom. You can go out, you're out, and nothing else matters. And so it's kind of like that.
Kind of like catching a wave, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So amazingly, Keenan only started making these pieces in 2015.
Yeah.
So what was your initial inspiration to make artwork with skateboards?
A long time ago, I wanted to make the graphics on the bottoms of skateboards. So a lot of the graphics that you see here, I wanted to be the guy that made the graphics. But I really just liked them in general, So when I first started doing it, I think I was hurt. I can't remember exactly why, but I had a bunch of skateboards under my bed, and like broken boards and all that stuff. And I just wanted to cut them up. I made little collages with squares, and I made sure to just kind of leave in like little pieces so that like my friends and people who could see them could be like, oh, that's a anti-hero skateboard, or that's a baker, that's this, or that's that, That was all I was thinking. And then kind of over time, I just wanted to see what else I can do. So it went from just making little squares, collages with colors and stuff like that, to making animals, and then, whatever else I could think of. And then eventually I tried people, and it was a challenge at first, but I just kind of kept doing it just to see how it could look, and I'm proud of it now.
You should be.
Thank you.
So for those of us that may not be aware, how are skateboards made, and why are they so conducive to the way you are manipulating them?
So, and I'm not like the super expert, but so skateboards, it's usually about seven layers. These really thin pieces of wood that they glue together. You can kind of see it on those, but I guess you have to be a little closer. these really thin layers of wood that they glue together, and then they have a press that they shape. When you look at like those up there, you can see how, you know, it's the oval shape, but they have concave, they bend in, they, you know, do different things. And every skate company has different shapes. So it's kind of what you like. But yeah, they're pressed together and then they're molded into a shape. What I do is kind of just, I look for the colors that I need for, it's kind of like if you were painting and you needed reds and, you know, greens and blues. I look for the colors that I need on the graphics, and when I'm cutting them out, I try to cut it so that it doesn't hit too much of the concave, like the parts that curve. But sometimes it's nice because it kind of makes it go in and out. You know, it just depends. But that's kind of how they're made.
Yeah, so maybe you could walk us through your process a little bit. How do you, you know, start and end making these images?
Okay, so a lot of times, like especially now, these are all these pictures are friends and family, and like experiences basically that I've had through skateboarding. So a lot of them are pictures that I've taken, or yeah, I think all of these are actually pictures that I've taken. And I'll take the picture, I kind of put it onto my iPad, I make a template or like a pattern for what would make sense with cutting it up. I can't have a piece too big because of how the concave is and everything, so I have to break it up. So I do that all on my iPad first. Make like a pattern basically. And I just keep it in black and white because I don't want it to, I don't really want the color to like influence like, oh, it has to be this color or whatever. I'll take that and I blow up the image. I kind of still do it the same way. I know there's probably better ways, but I glue it to a piece of poster board, and then I cut out each piece. I'll have the colors that I need. I'll say I need greens and blues. I'll have a bunch of skateboards that have greens and blues in them. And then I cut out each piece, glue it to the board. I use a scroll saw, and I just cut out each piece and then just put it all together like a puzzle, basically. If I need a color underneath, you can kind of see like with this, like the outside graphic is white, but underneath it's green. So I'll use that, like I'll sand off the top graphic to get to the bottom to have different shades if I can't use other pieces or if it's too tight or, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, I piece it together, I sand it all, piece it together, glue it, and basically like that. Yeah, it just takes a little time sometimes.
Just a little.
Yeah. It just depends. If I'm really into it, like I can't stop. Like I want to see what it's gonna look like, so I just keep going and I'll go to sleep, but I wake up first thing in the morning and I'm right back at it. It's kind of hard for me to like take a very long time with it. I have to like keep going until, you know, I see how it's gonna come out.
So one of my favorite parts about what you're doing is using the grip tape to make like the shadows and the hair.
Yeah.
Was that just kind of like an obvious thing for you, or did you figure that out?
No, I didn't used to use the grip tape at all. So the grip tape is like the top, if you don't know. It's the top part of the skateboard that kind of, I guess it's kind of like how you would think like sandpaper, but it's what keeps your feet it kind of helps when you're doing tricks to kind of keep your feet to the board. I think this might be one of the first ones I used as a shadow, but I used to use them as like, with that one over there, I'd use them as like hair just because it had like texture. I just thought it was nice, but I just started kind of using them as shadows. I just like the way that it looks. And I've tried to use all parts. I'd like to use all parts of the skateboard. So it just was like a nice fit to, you know, use the grip tape in that way. And I'm still trying to find out different ways to use it. But yeah, that was kind of a newer thing.
It's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any one particular part of the process that's like your favorite? Or least favorite?
Yeah, my favorite is when it's done. Like when I'm when I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, even though like to be honest, I'll look at it and I'm like, I'm not always excited about it, and I think it's just because I have been doing it for so long that it's like, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'll sit for a little and then I'm happy with it. Like I really like it. But I don't, especially in the summer, sanding outside, where I do everything, it's outside. I'm not inside it's not air conditioned at all. So I'm sweating. Sanding and cutting is definitely the worst. Like my hands will cramp up sometimes on some of the little pieces when I'm trying to, get them. But it's all worth it. It's just, it's definitely all worth it.
So I've had the privilege to see your stacks and stacks and stacks
Yeah.
of skateboards at home.
In boxes and bins sitting around.
Where are you getting all these skateboards?
They're my skateboards, my friends' skateboards. Skate shops will hold them for me. People will message me sometimes and say like, hey, I have my grandkids used to skate and I have a whole bunch of skateboards, laying around in the garage. Do you want to use it? Because it is repurposing them. When they're broken, you can't do anything with it. Like really, you can't do anything with it but throw it away. So it's like, yeah, if you have extra skateboards, I'll take them. I'll try to do something with it because even if they're plain, like you can do something with it. So a lot of it's from that.
I love that. You're bringing the community into your artwork.
Yeah, I like for my friends to see, like, oh, a couple people were here and they were like, oh, I know that smile before. And I'm like, yeah, that was sure. So that's fun to me for sure.
So you take a lot of pride in figuring things out on your own.
Yeah.
You're self-taught, you're just going for it. In the last 10 years that you've been making this work, what are some of the biggest things that you've learned technique-wise to make this all happen?
There's a lot. I used to do a lot of different things. Like when I first started, I wanted it to look like how stained glass is. So that's where when I would do the squares, just little collages with shapes, I would put bathroom caulk or the caulk you use for that, in between, because I was trying to make it look like stained glass, how those are. It kind of just evolves. I would look up stuff on YouTube, what works. I started with a jigsaw, and then I realized that I couldn't get tight cuts with it. So I went on YouTube, Reddit, Google, asking friends what can I use? People would tell me about a bandsaw. I use a scroll saw all the time pretty much, but I'm still learning. I'm learning different stuff I can use now even. So it's kind of just seeing what works and trying it. And if it doesn't work, it still was fun to make, but yeah, I think that's kind of all I've got.
Absolutely. Another sort of new element to this body of work is the figurative sculptural pieces that you made. They're so heartwarming. What made you sort of want to work in 3 dimensions?
It was definitely something I've wanted to do. I just didn't know how. I really, like I was saying earlier, I'm interested in people. And these especially, to me, they all kind of have their own little personality. None of them ever come out the same, which is cool to me. All of the layers, the layers that you see, it's just the layers in the skateboard. And it's kind of fun to see how it's going to turn out. Even if I have a plan for what they're going to look like, it doesn't ever come out the way I'm thinking. They take on their own personality, and I really like working in 3D, 3-dimension with it. I want to do more. This is kind of me kind of starting with these, but I really like the way that they've come out, and I want to try to do more with it.
Yeah, I think it's awesome too how you incorporated the wheels in those pieces.
Yeah. I feel like it makes them look like to me, they look like little people. And depending on the way it's leaning or, certain things like say that one, you get an emotion from them sometimes.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. And those have been really fun. And I want to explore that more, definitely.
Well, they're really gestural, and you definitely have an eye for a sculpture, so
Thank you.
continue doing it. So Keenan and I first started talking about getting this show together maybe a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
But you didn't really start making until
Yeah, it was
March?
About March or something like that. So everything was made this year. And I don't know, definitely. I know some of my friends know, like it. Not that it drove me crazy, but yeah, definitely. Like I was inside, like thinking what I'm about to do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm really happy with the way it came out. I'm happy with the ones that I picked to be in it. And yeah, it grew over time too. Like some of the ones that I started, I think it was either this one or the one of the guy. It's my friend Austin. That's the one who I started skateboarding with. The guy that's holding his backpack. I'm pretty sure he might have been the first one that's in this. And it kind of grew around, like, that, because I originally had a different idea for what I wanted to do with it, but I'm happy that I kept it like with friends and family and people I know. I really like that I know them. Like it feels more personal that way to me.
I mean, I think we can all at this point see that you're extremely giving in your personality. You're a really thoughtful person, and maybe you could share with us where you think that personality trait comes from.
So definitely like my family. So like my mom and my grandma growing up. That's kind of how they are for sure. But it also is like I keep saying, like a lot of stuff is from skateboarding. A lot of the lessons that I've learned is from skateboarding. When I was like younger, it's like you break skateboards and your mom or your dad or whoever is like mad, like, man, I just spent $50. Or like you got shoes and you mess up your shoes and those might have been your school shoes, like you shouldn't have skated over, like, but like, so like I would have like, a little bit older friends. They were probably like a little bit older than me. They had jobs and stuff. And yeah, I was younger and they'd be like, here, I have an old board or whatever, you can ride this. Or like, what size shoe you wear? Like, oh, you can take you skate this way, so you mess up this shoe. I skate this way, so you can take another shoe. Yeah, like, and that's how it was. So it's like, that's how I try to be still, like, if I can help out, I'm gonna help out.
I mean, I think it comes through in talking to you and in looking at the show. So I'm wondering if there were any particular challenges in creating this work. Certainly the hurricane was one. Any other big challenges that came about?
Yeah, definitely just figuring out how to go about it, how to make a frame, how to make these things make sense. But the hurricane for sure was probably the biggest for me. I worked out of my back lanai, or like my back porch, and it was a tropical storm actually. Debbie, the one that was in August or September, that one, so there was a tree out, so there's like all these trees, they always fall outside my house, but there was a tree and I saw, I'm like, it's leaning, like it's either gonna hit the house or it's gonna hit the house in the shed. So I was debating, should I take all my stuff out or not, And I'm kind of happy I did. I just was like, whatever, I'm just gonna bring all my stuff inside, some pictures, and then like pretty much all my tools. As soon as I brought everything, and all the skateboards too. I had a ton of skateboards outside. I just brought everything inside because I didn't know if it was gonna, if it was gonna rain too hard, or anything. So as soon as I finished bringing everything inside, I sat down and literally like 10, 15 minutes later, I'm on the phone with my friend, and like you just hear it like crash, and I go outside and it's just destroyed, like it's gone. So I'm working out of the front carport. The cool thing is that like with the cool thing is though, like with the scroll saw, I can move around. It's not like I have to be in one place, so it doesn't really like stop anything. So it's still going, like it's not like, a sad story or anything, like it's just, so I can keep going. But it definitely like threw me off for a little bit because I was like, what am I gonna do? Like everything, but I'm happy that it worked out still, If anything, it probably made me do more.
And moving to the front, also, then your neighbors started giving you food.
Yeah, my neighbors next door, or like people walk by, because I like to be kind of to myself with it. I don't like show a ton of people. My friends might see it, but like when I'm doing stuff, I don't, I'm not like very like look at what I'm doing, So my neighbors, like their sons knew, because they would kind of come over before, but like they didn't, I don't think they ever even saw anything. And I remember like they came over and they finally saw it because I was in the front, it's making a whole bunch of noise. And they're not mad, they weren't mad about it or anything. I kept being like, I'm so sorry, like, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, you're fine, like, what are you doing? And then, they're looking at it, and ever since then, like, I would be outside, and they'd be like, here, honey, I got, I made this, like, you can have some of this. And, yeah, so I was eating good towards the end, for sure. Definitely.
So Keenan, do you have a favorite piece in the show?
Yeah, definitely. This is my little brother. This is Bryson. This is one of the first times. He doesn't like skateboarding really too much. He was probably like, I want to say like 5. He's 9 now. I want to say he was like 5 or something like that. But this was in the driveway. I had got him to get on a skateboard. I have a video of it actually. And it just is fun. Like that's what skateboarding is. You're having fun. And I think like I like the expression that he has. It was also one of the first times that I got like an expression. To make one that made sense to me. Because a lot of times it'd be like straight faced or whatever. And I feel like it gives off joy. Like it makes me happy. It makes me smile when I look at it. So I really like that one. And this is one of the first ones that I used to shadow on. And I like the way that came out. This one and then the one right there. This is Reem. So this is one of my best friends from New Jersey. Really good friend from New Jersey. He moved out here a little bit after I moved out here. He moved to Cape Coral, and he was just a really cool dude. And I could talk about him forever. Like he passed away like a couple years ago, so it's kind of like we would sit outside, we'd skate all the time. He taught me. I could play the guitar a little bit, but this dude could shred. Like there's a picture of him playing over there. He was. I could talk about Reem forever, honestly. Yeah, he was a really cool dude, and I just wanted to make something of him. He was one of the only. I don't make a lot of stuff, and like my friend, I don't make a lot like with my friends around. So like if somebody's at my house, like I'm not gonna be cutting. But he would sit outside and just be playing, like or hanging out. Like we'd just be, and he'd see or try to like help put something together and stuff like that. So I like those two definitely. Like those two mean a lot to me. For sure.
I think another really great part about this whole show is you've got so much other sort of creative talent happening. Like he's playing guitar, and then this guy's on the keyboards, and he's got his camera over there, and it's really bringing the whole artistic community together.
Yeah, I like when people do things. I like, I like seeing what people do. It's just interesting. Everybody has their thing, something that they really like, and that's interesting to me. And especially when it's somebody you can talk to about it, and they let you know, and they let you into their world and like what they're thinking. Like that means a lot to me. So I try to show it.
So Keenan, you've been working on this show now since March. What are your goals for the future in your art practice?
I definitely want to just I'm going to keep making stuff. I want to make things, I want to make them bigger. I would like to one day do like a mural or like a huge like wall size, like something really big. As well as like these sculptures, I want to make those really big too. I have to figure out how to do it, but that's the fun of it, to figure out like how am I gonna. I was thinking of that today. Those sculptures, how am I gonna make this like 4 foot tall, or whatever, so that's definitely. But I just want to have fun and keep doing it. I've been having fun doing this, and I want to keep having fun and seeing what I can do next with it,
Well, I know you're super humble, Keenan, but so you've been making this art for 10 years now. You just had your first solo show. Are you an artist?
Yeah. I'm not though. You know, there's so many people that I say that all the time. Like, but yeah, definitely, I'm very proud. I'm very proud of this. I'm happy that other people accept it and that they like it, and that I'm not, you know, I'm really proud of it. So I think so, definitely.
Well, we're proud of you too. So I wanted to share with all you guys, yesterday we had a group of kindergartners in here, and Keenan was generous to spend some time with them. They loved him. But Keenan, you shared with them some really important information about life that you learned from skateboarding that you have brought into your artwork. Maybe you can share with our adult audience tonight.
Yeah, I was careful about what to say. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, they are kindergartners. But yeah, definitely just letting them know, like with skateboarding, it's I think I was telling you, like, I know there's probably other sports but skateboarding, like, it's kind of like I heard it somewhere that it's like one of the only things that like celebrates failure. Like, if you want to land something, you have to keep trying. You have to keep trying. You're gonna mess up a kickflip for like a year and even still, like you might learn another trick and then you lose the one trick that you learned. You know, you have to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. You fall, you scrape yourself, but you get back up and you keep trying. And it's that it only takes one, you know, to be like, oh, I love this. Like, this is it's what gets you, you know. So that's kind of what I was telling them. Like, whatever you're doing, you gotta just keep trying it. It's gonna get hard, and it's always hard at anything, whatever you want to do, you know. But that's definitely something that skateboarding taught me. Is like, if I want to do it, I have to keep trying. And I really like that it's an individual thing. I don't mind working with groups and stuff like that, but it's all kind of on you, you know. You don't have a team. You don't have somebody that's like yelling at you for not doing something. It's like, this is like self-motivation. Like, I want to do this, you know? So it definitely helped me with that, to be like, if I want to do something, I have to just keep trying at it. It's like landing a trick or, you know, something like that, so.
Wise beyond your years, Keenan. All right, so I think you guys know I was right. Wonderful human. We'll open it up to Q&A in just a second. But Keenan, I would just love for you to share with us one key message that you would like our audience to take away with your show tonight.
Keep trying. Keep trying.
Well, maybe for the skateboarders in the room, because I know it's a little different for them.
Skateboarders.
If they're
I really like, so like if two things that I like about some of the stuff that I make, or that, like, if you don't skate, you don't know, a lot of times you don't know like certain brands and stuff. And I like that about it because, you know, it's kind of just all fun. But I really like for some people who do skate or know about things to kind of look at them. I like when they enjoy, like, they know what board this is, or they know what certain things are, or what that's from. I like hearing stories about, like, you know, just different things. And I think that's, I think that's it.
You nailed it, Keenan. Thank you. The show was wonderful.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it, seriously.
So anyone that has questions, please feel free.
Can you talk about the middle one? It's the one that touched me so deeply, and I wanted to know more about it.
I appreciate that. So that's my cousin Judy. And I still call her Little Judy, but I probably should call her Judy. She's older than me. But my grandma's named Judy. I guess she was Little Judy. I just love her so much. I've grown up with her. She used to change my diapers. She's like, and kind of every year or two, I make another picture of Judy. So it's just special to me. I don't know, it's like I guess you could say it's like a benchmark, but it just means a lot to me. Like, and I like her expression in this. She's always, at least to me, I've never seen her like freak out or anything. She's always calm. Yeah, I really like that too. Honestly, that's my cousin Judy. That's my.
What did you want to say about her? That piece to say about her?
I wanted it to show just her like calmness, kindness, calmness, just how she is.
She almost looks like she's praying.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like. Yeah, I really like you. Thank you. Oh, okay. Can I? Please ask some questions.
How do you go through your naming process?
Oh, that's a good question, bro. For the naming the pictures.
Yeah.
So I used to never name pictures, like, because I didn't know what to name them. To be honest, like to me, it's more just like a feeling or like who they are to me. So a lot of these that I named, it's like the feeling that they'll give me, either their name, the feeling that I get from looking at the picture, or yeah, kind of just like what they're doing or what they are. Like that one, the green with my friend that's holding the camera, that one's named VX1, and like a lot of skateboarders definitely know like the VX1000 is like a staple camera, like it's that people would use to film. Now it's kind of changing where people use like HD cameras and stuff like that, but that's still like the what would you say, like yeah, like that's what people still love, like that footage. It's like tapes and everything. You have to do so much, but that's kind of how I name them, man. Just like the feeling they give me, or yeah, what they are. But I used to not name them, and it is kind of hard for me to name them. I'm not gonna lie, just because I don't know. I'm not thinking of the name of it. I'm thinking of the person.
Because, yeah, the one in between those two is named Cheese.
Yeah. So he's cheesing. That's my friend Tanner. That's my friend Tanner. He caught a fish that day. I remember the day. It was awesome. And it was a tiny fish. It was like really, really small. But like, yeah, it's like just joy to me, you know? He's cheesing like really hard. So that's why I named it Cheese, you know? It's not, the names aren't super deep. A lot of them are. But I feel like it gives off to me what they are, you know?
Mayor, did you have a question?
Yeah, first of all, I think this is the best exhibit in this gallery that I've ever seen. I've been coming here a long time.
Well, thank you.
I said that to your friend who's on that picture at the end over there.
Oh, the blue Tabuya?
Yeah, the one all the way on the end.
Yeah.
But is there any artist out there that you look up to?
Oh, yeah.
And you enjoy him, and maybe it is reflected into the work that you do.
Yeah, there's a
You know what I'm saying?
there's a couple that I really like. There's an artist named Gerald Lavelle. I don't know if you guys know him. I think he's from Atlanta. I'm not sure, but he does a lot of painting. And I think it's in pastel. Like it's like heavy like emphasis on like the hands and face. You should definitely look him up if you haven't seen him. But a lot of them are like photos of his friends and things like that. I found him kind of after I was making these, but it's like I love looking at his pictures. I'm trying to think. There's a guy. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but it's like Stefan Destruc or Stefan de Krook. I don't know exactly where he's from, somewhere in Europe, but he does he'll use like doors and like pieces of old wood and like huge like geometric like figures of people and like on like sides of buildings and stuff, but they give off so much like emotion. I don't know if he paints them, But it's like different like doors and wood and stuff. But I remember seeing that and being like, wow, you know, like, yeah, like kind of just blew me away.
What was that?
What was the name?
Stuart what?
It's like Stefan.
Oh, Stefan.
Stefan de Kroop or Stroop. I know on Instagram it's like Stroop. Something like that. Like,
Yeah,
I wish I could.
what was the first artist? What was it?
Gerald Lavelle.
Gerald.
Yeah. I love his art. Like seriously. There's a. I don't know if I'm saying this right either. I'm terrible with names, but there's somebody named Ariz, A-R-Y-Z, or A-R-Y-Z. I just like the way his paintings and stuff look. But there's actually a lot. Like I'll find people. There's William Rockford. I think his name is William Rockford. He'll set up like whole scenes. He'll show it on I've seen it like through Instagram and stuff. Like he'll set up whole scenes. He'll have like old cameras and all this stuff, and he'll set up like whole scenes and then take the picture himself and then paint it. Like he'll make it, you know, his own, and I just like that. I like, you know, certain things like that. But Gerald Lavelle definitely is like one of my favorite artists for sure right now.
I have a question.
Yeah. No, I know.
So I think you have a gift for capturing gesture, right? Whether it's two-dimensional or three-dimensional. And you say you use photo references. Are you like scrolling through your gallery and do you have 10 examples of Judy maybe and you're like, that's the one I want to create? Or what's that process for you?
It's kind of both. Sometimes it'll be a picture, right? It'll be a picture like, I'm trying to think of one. Definitely like say the one of Julio. I have a bunch from that day, you know, of him. And that one is the one that like spoke to me most. But then sometimes I'll take something and I'll piece it together. So I'll have different pictures and I'll put them together, you know, and make something. But it kind of just depends.
Do you know in the moment, like the Donna Betty, do you know in the moment you're like, this is going to be...
No, I have no idea. Like, I like looking back on fun stuff. I remember that day vividly, actually. And then Donna Betty's isn't there anymore. It's not in that parking lot anymore. It was where, you know. But that actually, so that's my cousin Tommy. That's in the front, in the blue. He's the same one in that picture. With the red shirt. And we were all just kind of waiting in line. It was late at night, waiting for Don. And it's like, that's how it always was. It was super fun. I remember seeing because Joyland used to be there. I remember that day, just seeing that. I don't know what was happening that day, but a guy dressed up in an astronaut suit walked out. And it was kind of just like, whoa, you know, but I like looking at these pictures and it's like how I remember, you know, stuff, and it's memories for me. And I like that other people can see it and get their own feeling out of it, how she was saying about Judy, or you can see something. So it's like I like that, you know, everybody gets a vibe from it.
I love Judy because that's my name.
Oh, is it? That's a nice name. It's a really nice name.
I saw that and I thought, oh my God, that's me. So I thought, and I'm not the only one. I have a friend whose name is Judy also, and she felt the exact same way.
Really? Yeah, so Judy, and then the skateboard that's in the middle of the lady with the green and yellow, that's my grandma. Her name is Judy.
Her name is Judy too?
Yeah, Judy. So, yeah, they both are Judy's. Yeah, Judy and Little Judy, literally. I still call her Little Judy, but I probably shouldn't call her Little Judy.
Don't change it, should.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you use fill in anywhere at all with paint? I see the background seem to be.
Yeah, just the background.
Nothing, no other details. Do you ever put a paint?
Nothing else is.
Unbelievably
everything
expensive.
is-
They're phenomenal. It's phenomenal how you can get an expression out of paintbrush.
Thank you. Yeah, it's all from the skateboards.
He's just smiling at me.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be here, but he was here.
He was here with you.
on your opening, wasn't
Yeah, he was here. He was definitely here. Yes.
Relate to her question, so you use oil pastel. Is
I'll
that right?
use, yeah, so for these, it's kind of newer that I was trying to, a lot of times I would make stuff in the background would kind of be like his, the one with the guitar. It would just be plain, or I would use skate magazines and collage them in the back. But I wanted it to kind of look rough. A lot of these to kind of look rough, to like give off just a different feeling. So the backgrounds, a lot of times are oil pastel, just because I like using them, to be honest. It's what I had. A lot of this is like what I have, you know.
And then did you use that oil pastel or any sort of paint material on the collaged pieces at all?
No. Yeah, no.
It's all from the woods?
It's all, yeah.
Wow.
Everything is from there. If you look, if you go up, I don't know if that, but if you touch them, it's like, I'm real cool with it, but like if you touch them, you can
Christina's
tell.
saying
it's
no, don't touch
Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
Yeah. No. Thank you. Yeah, so I'll before I start, like I was saying, like with this shirt or whatever, I do have to, I didn't used to, but it's kind of like something I've been paying attention to a lot more, where I look at what the layer is underneath. So the top layer is whatever the graphic is. Like her shirt, the top layer is white, and that's where you see like the words and the pieces, but underneath it's blue. And if you sand off that white, you get to the bottom layer. So I would sand to get to the bottom layer, and that kind of makes it looks like it has like shadow, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, and I try to keep it. That's where it's kind of gotten frustrating lately, because I didn't used to worry about what the colors look like or if they matched up or anything. But I try to keep it so that the colors somewhat are like in the same realm. You know, I don't want to have like a purple and then like lime green. It wouldn't be bad. Like I'm pretty sure that one does have purple and lime green. But I try to keep it where it's like, you know, it's kind of close to what's going on with the whole thing. Or that's what I've been trying to do, but it's hard sometimes.
I have a question for you and a question for the audience.
Okay.
Which is right. So I love sitting here while you're talking and just looking and looking at this piece right here. And I noticed the background's, it's like tiled.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So gosh. So I'm looking at the tiled pieces and also the detail in his pants and his shirt.
Thank you. That means a lot.
And without going up to it, which I will after I stand up, but is that shirt sanded or is it multiple pieces?
So parts of it, I think parts are from a different, I'll find like the same board or the same kinds, same colors of boards and piece them together. Some parts are sanded off so that it's darker up top and it's lighter underneath, but sometimes I don't have enough of that color or whatever, so I have to find, you know, another piece, and then I kind of just, I'll have the piece and then I kind of like use a pencil and like make like another stencil of it, you know, to kind of fit it in and then sand it so that it fits in right. But
I love the tiling, the way it's just really, yeah, I really like it. I love that.
so that's kind of how they started. I would do stuff like that. I would cut up squares or like bigger squares or whatever and have little pieces to where like you see the one that's like light blue and orange or whatever that says like, it says Habitat, but I don't know if you,
Yeah.
but that's like one of my, that used to be definitely one of my favorite companies and stuff. And I like for like people to pick that out, you know, to see different things. The more you look at them, a lot of times you'll see little things inside of them, you know, little stuff. But if you look at it from far away, it just looks like an image, you know.
I assume you sand it because there's so much life in the top pieces themselves, like each individual tile. They're so interesting, yeah.
Thank you.
But something happened there. What happened just before that picture was taken? Like, did he hit the wall?
Oh,
You know?
So actually, that picture, it was taken in St. Pete. He was, we were at this skate park. I can't think of what it's called, but it's on the water. and he was just, it's like he was just chilling. He was relaxing on what do you call it? Like just a piece of concrete that's like on the edge of the water. You know what I mean? He was just laid out, just relaxing. So I wanted the blue to kind of feel like the water. And the orange is what he was laying on. But I just thought it would be cool with that orange there. I don't know. I couldn't find a grip. I like the way that it looks. You know what I mean?
Oh, it looks, so my other question, thank you, for the audience, because I used to skateboard when I was, it was a while ago.
You gotta tell me about it. See, this is what I like to hear.
So we didn't have the money. I don't even know if they made like groovy skateboards, but mine was like this big. And we would skate on the street and try not to kill each other. I wonder how many people, men and women, skateboarded when they were little or now. Like, I'm just curious.
I like that.
To my knowledge, we didn't have like, at least the kids in my neighborhood, we didn't have known names. We made them.
Oh,
That's
they were
cool.
heavy.
Well, mine was, there was just, I can say, it was really fun.
Yeah. That's cool.
And you get hurt and you're like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah. Just get up.
Thank you. It brought back memories listening to you talk about it.
See, and that's what I really like. I like to hear that, you know, people who used to skate their experience with it. So.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Sorry. I feel like there's two ways that we could describe your mark making in these, right? So you've got the scroll saw when you're breaking up the image and choosing what shapes those are, but then you have the surface texture too, so you sanding back that. Is there one that is more interesting to you than the other?
Like between cutting
Like-
them out and sanding them?
Yeah, making the expression with the scroll saw or leaving that bit of color in the corner. Does that make sense?
I think that's a good question. I don't know. I think the cutting part is the most important because it has to work. Like, if I'm understanding your question right, it has to work. Like, there's a lot of times, all the time actually, where I'll make something and I'm like, it does not come out right because the cuts were wrong, or like I cut something in the wrong spot, and where I thought it would work, it made it look weird, you know, to me. But sanding definitely is important because, like, the picture right there with my two friends playing the guitar, like, that's Nick, and like Nick doesn't have hair. I like how the back part. I kind of kept the graphic to kind of see, but when you sand it off and you still have the marks from the skateboard, I really like that part because, like, I don't know, it feels lived. Like, it feels like how we got cuts and stuff all over us all the time, you know, or markings. I do like sanding stuff off. I think both are important. I don't know if I answered your question right,
Absolutely.
if that's what you're talking
First of all, I love the show.
about. Thank you.
And I love the idea that you are taking a moment in time and then taking so much time to capture that moment. It becomes such a detailed process, and then at the end, it's like you had this gesture. You know,
Yeah.
it's a really interesting process.
Thank you.
Did you take art classes when you were in high school?
No, just the basic stuff that we have to take. When I moved here, I went to SEF, and I took an art class at SEF, but it was like intro to art or something like that, and I really didn't pay any attention.
It was an easy
I didn't
elective,
finish,
right?
yeah.
I did 3 credits and then elected.
We did though, I do remember actually now I think about it, I think it was 9th or 10th grade, me and Austin, we had this class, computer art, and that was fun to me. Like, we would make, but it was on the computer, you know, like.
It sounds like you're using it now, taking the image and diagramming it, blowing it up. So.
I'm positive that like a lot of stuff, I would have to think about it, but a lot of stuff that, you know, you take stuff and whether you realize it or not, you're using it from forever ago to now. So there definitely, I'm sure there's stuff that I've learned, that, you know, but I didn't take like any like serious art classes or.
So one other question, and that is the story about the difference between the park and street skating. You're talking about the challenges of working within a built environment and the challenges, surprises in that. So that's a really interesting concept. Have you thought about applying that to a larger scale piece to try and capture that?
I feel like they always are like that, to be honest with
You
you.
feel like each one is like that?
Yeah, because everyone has its own challenge and you gotta get over, you gotta figure out like, how am I gonna make this work? There's a
I
lot
was
of.
picturing that as a mural, you know, like.
Oh, like,
of a built
of
environment.
showing that? Okay.
Just throwing that out at you.
That is that's a good idea. I mean, that's a good idea,
I have two questions. Have you ever done, first one, have you ever done an art piece for somebody that wasn't close family or friends?
Like of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I've made some things of like people, I used to make stuff of like, I tried making stuff of like a couple like artists that I like celebrities or whatever. I like that it's more personal to me, that it's people that I know. Like, if I'm not sure about certain things or certain ways that or if I want to make them look a certain way or whatever, I know my friend, you know what I mean? And I can be like, well, he would wear this color shirt, or he would wear these pants, or his, like his hair, I could get away with doing this with his hair or whatever. But that's just from like knowing them. It's just more personal to me to do stuff with people that I know. And that's why I like to. But I'm not opposed to doing stuff with other people.
And second question, because I see it, do you like doing it inside of like a frame, or do you like making just the person?
Yeah, you got good questions. So I put these in frames, and I remember we had talked about it at one point because I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna make frames, like I'm terrible. I wanted them to be in frames for this, but a lot of times I would have them like how Judy is, or kind of just like a free, but they don't have to be in frames like that. I do like when it's outside of them too. The ones that are on the skateboards are kind of not brand new, but the way that I kind of went about it with the shadows especially are a little new to some things. So I like testing out different things and seeing what it would look cool on, But they don't have to be in frames. It's just what I kind of went with for these. That was a really good question.
Do you have a website that we can see more?
So I'm trying to figure out how to make a website. To be honest.
I'm sure somebody here could help you.
I have an Instagram, so everything's basically on my Instagram. From one of the first pictures I made, it's on there. And I share it pretty often. Sometimes I kind of go a little while without, but I can give it to you.
Sure, yeah,
sure. It's A Keen Bean.
It's what?
It's A Keen Bean. So AYE. Oh, sorry. It's all good. Yeah, I need to
AYE.
AYEKEEN.
JEN.
K.
Sorry,
K-E-N.
I'm hearing KEN.
E. Yeah, like Keen.
Double E.
Keen.
So AYEKEEN BEAN. And there's a little Charlie Brown guy, like when Franklin Charlie Brown, or the Peanuts. That
Why are you calling your artwork HKE?
So when I first started, when I first started, my name is Keenan Perren, but like I didn't want to sign my name. I don't know. Yeah, just like I was really like very low key, and I still kind of am.
I'll get one.
And so I just would sign in HKD. It stood for Hey King Bean, which is it's kind of. It stood for Hey King Bean, which used to be what old Instagram was, and like I in my head, I thought that it would like be like, I don't know, like it could be anybody. Like you could think of any name for it, like be Herbert or something. That's the person, you know. But I just kind of always kept it. I never changed it. I could sign on Keenan Perren, but I just really like the HDV, you know. Nobody calls me HDV or anything like that. It's just like it's all in my head. So.
One last question on the 3D pieces. How are those assembled?
So those, like I was saying, like how skateboards, they have like 7 layers or however many layers that are pressed, a really small, like veneer. I'll take like a few skateboards and glue them and press them together. Then I cut out that to make like a block, basically. And then I just sand and cut down the block into a form, you know what I mean? And the form at first is real, just like, I don't know, rigid, and it could be whatever. And then I just slowly just keep sanding it down, and cutting off pieces, cutting out pieces, and just to get more of just, shape. And yeah, that's what I mean by like they all are their own. Those things are, I really like those sculptures because they all have their own personality and they all are their own thing. It's kind of like a person. It is a person to me. Like every person is different. The insides, the layers, we're all different, And I really like those for that reason. So that's kind of just gluing them together and just cutting out a shape.
With your description, it reminds me of Zuni fetishes, where they pick up a rock randomly and then they find
Like
this form inside of it.
Yeah.
Like there's a spirit inside of it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, you said, I think in your talk that you first felt like you weren't getting personality, that you weren't getting a lot of emotion. How do you feel now? Do you feel like you're better at capturing that?
I think I'm trying, I'm trying to. I feel like these ones, I like how some of them came out, like Julio's, the one with the blue and the white shirt. I really like his expression and the way he's kind of looking down, he's kind of somber. Or like a tough day, I remember that day too. Or like the one next to it is my cousin Caleb. Real relaxed. I think that it's getting better at it. I'm still gonna keep trying. I don't want to say that like I got it, but I think that they're getting better. If you were to see where it started, if you were to see how some of them started, it was. I still am proud. I'm happy with them, but like they definitely were very you couldn't tell at all what I was going for. I don't think. Maybe you could, but I could.
Some of these are so personal to you. Do you have a seller's remorse, like, oh, not that one?
Yeah, all of them. Everyone. That's like the hardest part for me. Is but I'm happy when people like them and when they tell me about it and like why it means something to them without me even having to explain it a lot of times. What it means to them is like, I'm really happy that somebody got that out of it, even if it doesn't mean the same thing that it means to me. That's really cool to me, So, but I definitely am like, I won't post it for a while or I won't want to show it for a while because I'm like, I just want to live with it for a little bit, But what's your question, bro?
Have you ever quitted a art piece because you didn't really like it, or do you make sure you complete every single one?
No, I quit art pieces. So that when the kids were here, I kind of looked up at one point at Christina and I was like, they were like, do you ever get mad? Keenan, do you tell them like, if you ever, working on something, do you ever get mad and throw something and all that stuff? And I'm like, no, you keep going, but like, yeah, there's a lot of times, all the time, oh my gosh, I'll make stuff and I'm like, this is like, what? And I'll put it aside. Sometimes I go back to it in like, like a month or two or, a while. So there's some times where it's sat in a shoebox. I put stuff, and if I'm not sure about it, I'll put it in a shoebox and it's under my bed or in the closet, and I'll pull it out like a while later and be like, oh, this was kind of cool. Like, I don't know why I didn't like this before. But there's a lot of times, man, when I'll make something and I don't really like it, and I think that it's still important because you're still doing it, you know? Like, even if you don't like the way something comes out, you still are like, it's still that practice of it. And then like the next time you do it, you're like, you know what you did like and what you didn't like about it. You can kind of learn from that, you know? But definitely.
Any other questions for Keenan tonight? Keenan, you're amazing.